There's something very special about childhood, yet very sensitive. Children, unlike adults, live in the present, the now. Amazingly, they are easily astonished at the most minuscule moments. What seems meaningless to us is meaningful to them. There's no worries of what tomorrow might bring. They're not looking for the meaning of life. They're just living and enjoying life through play. That's how they learn. They are intuitive to their needs. They don't seek happiness. They are happiness. So much so that everything is akin to watching fireworks. That's until they are tarnished by their environment. They see adults worry about financial problems. When is the next meal coming? All this worrying about bills that money seems like the impossible to attain. They start school and begin to be measured by how much information they can withhold, as opposed to they are beautiful creators, a genius, beautiful beings. Kids begin to lose themselves. Identity stripped away, they are no longer authentic. They begin to feel as they are not good enough. Understand that as long as you know who you are, then no being can control how you feel. Self-esteem always been associated with feeling good. I feel great. I have good self-esteem. I'm happy. I love myself. I feel really great. But the true definition of self-esteem is true knowledge of oneself. What do I mean? Let's say someone comes up to you and says, "You have orange hair." You're going to say this person clearly has a perceptual problem. The certainty of knowing you don't have orange hair will cause you to not be offended by such comment. Now, if someone says, "You're stupid. You're such a failure, you big dumbo." Now, if he is truly certain he isn't, those words wouldn't affect him in any way. But what if he was told that as a child, more than once? Now there's a whisper in his being that maybe he is, and he believes it. Then he will be affected. So truly knowing who you are, you will not be affected by external variables.
Now let's dig deep and embrace the strange.
Something strange about self-esteem. Where is your life occurring? Everything you see, your visual experience, is life occurring within the room you're in? Where is that happening? Your entire life is occurring inside your head. You are looking at this video and you are experiencing it in this three-dimensional hologram that's being projected, where all of that information, those vibrations and frequencies of light you are seeing are going into these two cameras, and it gets assembled in your head, and you have this screen inside your head, and you are seeing everything on that screen. It is building this holographic image we call the third dimension. The funny thing about that is that's just your sight. You have your sound, taste, touch, etc. Take away any of those senses now. Then where is your life occurring? Same place. To show you how you see everything on that screen, if I were to mention a pink elephant, a flying pig, a cow jumping over the moon, you're able to see those images while watching this video. Take away sight by closing your eyes, flying pig, you can still see it. That place where you're seeing those images, that is exactly where your life is occurring. Now, how you visualize those animals I've mentioned, as powerful as the mind can be, shows how vulnerable it can also be. By not being conscious of your environment, not being aware, no control over your mind, things can easily be suggested, influenced, and your subconscious mind will pick it up. You You won't be aware of that. Your subconscious is aware of everything. See, there's many distractions in life that can influence who you are, because who you are is not that screen. You are not your thoughts. When you are born, you are all born with just enough softwares to survive, to eat, to defecate, to breathe, and so on. But we also download programs, all types of information, and one of those programs you download is the perception of yourself. Because the first year and a half of yourself, there is no I this, I that. There is no I. You have no separate self-perception of yourself. You don't see I. Let's go deeper. Your entire identity began because of other people defining who you were. You are so cute, you are so smart, you are such a beautiful being. Or, you don't listen, you are so stupid, you are so needy. Now all of these he, she, or you statements have been thrown at you for a year and a half. Then all of a sudden this separation occurs where you start building your own identity based off those said statements. Now those statements are given to you by other people's observations, not by something you have created. Your identity is forcibly downloaded onto you. Everything you identify yourself as is what you believe you are. It's a form of mind control. I say all of that to bring up self-talk. You have 50,000 self-talks a day. Of those 50,000 self-talks, you interact with 2,500 of them. Out of the 2,500 you interact with, roughly 80% are negative or limited in some way. See, the average human mind is aware of 5% of those self-talks. 95% of our thinking they're just happening. Now, how is that affecting all of humanity? Essentially, 4-to-1 ratio is considered PTSD. So basically, everybody in this planet is living in post-traumatic stress disorder. I hope you guys are still with me, because this is going to get very interesting. We have the learned helplessness phenomenon. In the late 60s, scientists made an experiment with a dog and electroshocks. When they shocked the dog, he ran away. After doing that a few times, then they put him in a harness. They shocked him again. The dog tried running away but couldn't. They shocked him a few more times until the dog stopped to try to run away. He just gave up. Then they removed the harness and again shocked the dog. To their surprise, he stood in one place, passively receiving the stimuli. No attempt of escape left. This essentially meant that we learned to ignore negativity in our lives, normally through social conventions, and stop reacting to it in a natural way. In order to be free of the influence that surrounds us, you have to recognize the patterns of your thinking. So much going on in this world, the news, negativity, so much stress. The first level of stress is known as the walk away response. When we are not allowed to walk away, fight or flight response. This is the second level of stress. When we are not allowed to fight or flight, then we go to the third level of stress, which is unconsciousness. Unconsciousness is a coping mechanism. It is the mother of all addictions and the father of suicide. There is a lot of people who are on some form of antidepressants. We can all agree to that. Working in an environment where we are not allowed to act. We are not allowed to say anything. Hence a whole society of unconscious people. This is why sports, movies, and TV shows are so popular. We want to live vicariously through celebrities' lives. We also have the study of the dreamless mind. In another older study, they tried to find out what purpose dreaming has. The probans agreed of being awakened every time they entered REM sleep, rapid eye movement. After 3 days, the whole project was called off, and the public was informed that this research should never ever be made again for ethical reasons. They all became suicidal, irritable, violent, and some were so disturbed that they actually attempted suicide, all because they were not allowed to dream. They studied dreams again, and they found that there is absolutely no difference between the brainwave activity at night than when we are daydreaming. TV is constantly transporting lies that we are not good enough and that our lives could be better. It detaches our mind from the present moment, which leads to an unconscious thinking. Our thoughts are always in the past or in the future. If I do that, and if I do this, then I will get this, and then I will be happy, and so on. I'm going to have a better life. I have more than enough in life. I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to see things change. I don't need things to give my life meaning or value. I'm going to increase my income. We are dreaming. And at that very same breath, that very same moment that we are dreaming, we got that 4-to-1 negative ratio waking us up, telling us, you can't do that. That's impossible. How many of us as children have been asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a musician. I want to be an artist. I want to be this, or I want to be that. I want to be a basketball player. I want to be an athlete. And in response, you can't be that. You can't do that. You need to get a reliable job. You can't rely on that. You have to go to school. You can't do this. You can't do that. You have to do this and you have to do that. But what about what I want? So in life, we have that continuous whisper of the things we can't do. And then we sit in a state of learned helplessness. We have this harness of negative thinking that is occurring and keeps us in a state of not knowing who we really are. Because all our lives we are told what to do, what to be like, who to be like, what school to go to. They are older than the children, so the parents knows best. We are conditioned into answering questions like what you want to be when you grow up, a doctor, a lawyer, but it has never occurred to anyone that maybe, just maybe, the answer, I want to create my own identity and be happy. That answer can be possible if we see everything in life as children, and to learn from children. And adults too can be astonished at seeing other people being their true selves, seeing ourselves, our lives, as if it were fireworks. And remember that your eyes are open during the time of the sun's rise, and you do close them during the light of the moon. But that third eye, that third eye is always open, aware, and ready to embrace the strange.